Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for coming back. If you're new here, my name is Tori. I like to play with makeup. I like to show you how I do my makeup. I like to talk about makeup. We like makeup here. Today's video is really fun. We're doing a full face of drugstore makeup. I just kind of want to preface that my energy is a little low, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a tough week. Let's see. Today's the 23rd. On the 17th, I got food poisoning. And that lasted till like midday of that Monday, so the 19th. And then I was fine. And then on the 21st, which was Thursday, before I went to jiu-jitsu, I took some pre-workout. I've been doing 2 days, but I hadn't that whole week because I got food poisoning. And so it was my first day back and I took pre-workout because I've just been feeling, you know, just kind of sluggish. I lost a lot of weight when I got food poisoning. And then I can't take pre-workout. It severely upset my stomach. It was way worse than the food poisoning and I'm still recovering from that. Today's the 23rd, so it's been 3 days of that. So it's basically been a whole week of my stomach being terrible to me. My energy is pretty low, excuse me, but I still want to get some content out for you guys. I am excited for today's video. I have a lot of new drugstore makeup. I have some old drugstore favorites in this little bag of mine. So let's go ahead and let's get started with that. Didn't do my full skincare routine because I want to use a moisturizer before we get started. This is one of my favorites. This is the Weleda Skin Food. If you don't have dry skin, I don't know how this will work on your skin. It's a very, very rich moisturizer. Drugstore foundations, even the ones that say glowy, tend to be a little bit drying on my face. So I know that I kind of have to do some extra prepping. So I'm going to take some on the back of my hand and just go in with that. I'm not going to take it all over my face. So especially the high points, I'm going to work it in. You guys can find this at Target. It is a drugstore brand and I believe, I don't know if Walmart sells it, but I know for sure Target has it. I know there's a lot of new affordable brands. There's ColourPop, you have Morphe, and their drugstore prices. You can get them at Ulta. However, if you can't find the product at a Target or a Walmart or a Walgreens, I'm not including it in today's video. But there are some really nice products nowadays that you can find elsewhere that are drugstore prices, which is great. They do have the Weleda Light, so if you have a more normal to oily skin type, then you can definitely check that guy out. I personally love the original one just because my skin is so dry. Next up, we're gonna go in with a primer. I've kind of let this guy sit on my face for a little bit. This is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Glow Lock Illuminating Primer. It says glow on it and it says illuminating. I don't know how hydrating it'll be. So that is why I went ahead and went in with the Weleda Skin Food. It feels... Is there silicone in this guy? Okay, yeah, so there's dimethicone in it, so it's definitely going to smooth out my face. It's not something I typically like has to be on the first of my list as far as primer. It's definitely going to make your makeup last a little bit longer. Definitely smooths out your skin, which is a plus. Went ahead and moved a little bit so I can get some better light. I do use natural light. I just haven't found like the best lighting situation that I want to set up yet, and I kind of feel like it works best for me right now. My face feels just really nice and plump. It feels super hydrated from the Skin Food, and I feel like it's a really good base just to go ahead and slap something on it. One of my favorite foundations, not even just like drugstore or not drugstore, one of my favorite foundations of all time is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. I would use that guy today. That's actually what I wore on my wedding day, believe it or not. I think if you have dry skin and you want like a matte satin finish, something that's gonna last you like all day, I've found that like that's like the best drugstore foundation. However, You know me, I love some glow. Revlon just came out with these guys, and this is the Candid Glow Foundation, so I'm going to give this a go for the first time today. I picked up 2 shades. I originally got 240, which is actually a little bit more fair than I normally am, and then I picked up 320, which is closer to me, but it is a little bit dark, so I figured mixing the two would be my best bet. So I'm going to take a pump of each on the back of my hand and just kind of go from there. This is my favorite makeup sponge. It is from the drugstore. It's an Ego Tools one. It's $4. I stopped using basically every other sponge. I just think this is the best. This is a fresh one, so I'm going to just take it from the back of my hand and start going along my face. Alright, I went ahead and did my forehead and then half of my face with that 1 pump of each, so I feel like I'm going to need a little bit more because I haven't gotten to the side. But it is really lovely. It does have a nice sheen to it. It doesn't feel heavy. So far, I really like it. I feel like this is one of those products that I'm like excited about because immediately, like, it's not hard to work with, and it's just been really nice putting it on. It's super lightweight. Like, this side does not feel any heavier than this side, so that's always a plus. And it doesn't feel like it's drying out my skin. That is something that I always look out for, just because of really dry skin, especially right now when I'm a depleted human. I picked up the Glow version. They also have the PhotoReady Candid Natural Finish. So I'm gonna also read you the claims on this foundation because it says it's anti-pollution. So it says it's a skincare inspired foundation that's ultra blendable, infused with antioxidants, anti-pollution, and anti-blue light ingredients. So I don't think I'll like really see those kinds of benefits. I mean, I'm sure it would take years. I will agree that it does kind of feel like you're doing skincare. It doesn't feel like foundation. It doesn't feel heavy. And I think I'm really gonna love this, guys. Alright guys, if you have watched my other videos, you'll know that the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer is I don't think I love a product more than I love that product. So this is the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. I see what they're doing there. This is new to my collection as well, and I'm just gonna see how it goes. I hope the color, let's see. Yeah, I mean, the color's pretty yellow, but that's what we're working with. I have that concealer on. I'm gonna take this flat end and start working it in. I put some by my nose. My skin is just so dry. I think it's because I'm not properly nourishing my body this week. So my skin is more dry than it usually is. Pretty impressed. I think it looks really good. I would normally do the rest of my base, but I'm working with some eyeshadow palettes from e.l.f. Don't know what look I'm gonna create yet, so I'm gonna actually do my eyes first before I move on to the rest of my face. Now that you guys are zoomed in, I'm gonna start with my brows. This is the Total Temptation Brow Definer from Maybelline. I have you guys zoomed in. We're gonna get into our eyes, and this is kind of what the eyebrow situation turned out to be. The color's really nice. Yeah, I don't think they're bad. Like, if you had this one brow product, it's actually pretty nice. Starting off, I'm gonna take a tiny bit of that Neutrogena concealer What I'm going to do is like right here upward, I'm going to just conceal that part. I'm going to be using a different product as my base, but I want the two to blend well together. I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Color Tattoo. This is a cream eyeshadow, and this is this shade Urbanite. And I'm just going to take my ring finger and kind of swirl it in this guy and then go in. I'm going to be using 2 of the bite-sized e.l.f. palettes. I have 4 of these guys. I actually just ordered this one and it came broken. This one is pumpkin pie. I also have rose water. This one is so pretty. I'm excited to play with this one. Just really cool toned pinks. The 2 I'm going to be using today is Cream and Sugar and Carnival Candy. Carnival Candy has just, oh, this palette is like, this is really fun. And these are gorgeous, guys. The shimmers in here are like not patchy. They're so like just creamy and beautiful. I love them. And the mattes are really nice as well. And then this one what is this one again? Cream and Sugar. It's really pretty. And I've loved kind of working with these guys. They actually remind me of Natasha Denona eyeshadows, which you'll hear me talk quite a bit about them. I've had like a love affair with them for quite a few years now. Ask anyone who is close to me. I kind of collect them. I don't know, her color story really pulls me in. But these guys remind me so much of just the way they blend. The color stories are like really fun to work with. But these are $3 versus anywhere from like $65 to like $128 for a palette from her. So these are beautiful. e.l.f. is really doing something special with their eyeshadows. So first off, I'm gonna go in with Carnival Candy, and I'm gonna just take a clean blending brush, and I'm gonna go into just this creamy bone shade, and I'm gonna blend where we put down that Maybelline cream eyeshadow and the concealer together. Alright, next with that same blending brush, we're gonna go into this brown shade right here. It does have like a nice kind of orangey undertone. And I'm just taking that into my crease and starting to work it in. I do want to point out about these as well is they kind of start off sheer, but they blend and build up so beautifully. So you can always kind of tame it down, going down a little bit lower. I like going pretty high up the brow bone. And it's one of those looks, it's gonna look quite wonky before it gets any better. Right, so I'm gonna just take a clean blending brush and really diffuse where this kind of line is upward. Right, now that we have that initial color laid down, I actually am gonna go into this pumpkin pie palette. I'm gonna go in with this guy right here. And right under my brow bone, I'm just gonna be working that in there. And it adds just a little bit more of a shadow than the initial color would, because they are pretty similar, but it just adds like the lightest bit of a definition in there. So you can see the little bit of a difference. Okay, so now we have just this really kind of blown out, and it's still quite light as far as our color goes. I'm gonna go in with this guy from the Cream and Sugar palette, which is the deepest shade in there. And I'm gonna really get that in my outer corner, create, following that same shape that we were using earlier. And I'm not gonna go all the way down, I'm gonna kind of stop right here and press that into my eye. Just a brush and start blending that out, blending brush. And then whatever excess is left, I'm gonna start pulling that inward, but staying like right on top of that brow bone where it ends, like right here. I'm gonna kind of drag that up. I'm gonna go back in with that same blending brush, and from this point forward, and then just start pulling it up. Alright, I'm going to take that same shade from the Cream and Sugar palette, and I'm going to take the same brush I was using it with. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it on that point, and because we brought it down to about here, I'm going to start connecting that. I'm not going to go all the way in, I'm going to kind of line it up right here just before you hit the very inner corner of my eye. What we're going to do is we're going to take the blending brush we've been working with, and I'm going to blend it inward. And what I'm doing is I'm working in circular motions, but at the same time, I'm not pushing any product this way, only this way. And then I'm going to take a little pencil brush, and I'm going to go into the same shade, and I'm going to kind of carve out a line throughout my eye. And it's really following just that same shape that we already made earlier. And we're gonna, once again, just start blending that through. So then we have kind of like this winged out shape. We're gonna clean this up here in a little bit, but I'm gonna take this liner from NYX. This is the shade Golden, SL16 Golden Bronze. I'm gonna take this guy, and in this center portion where we've kind of left bare, I'm just gonna work this in. I'm going to go back into the Pumpkin Pie palette, and I'm going to take the lighter of the two shimmer shades, and I'm going to just take my finger and kind of work it in there. Here's this beautiful copper, and I'm going to press that on top. We're going to go back in with that pencil brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of this red kind of terracotta shade, and I'm going to mix it with the brown that we've been using to kind of create that shadow. between the shimmer and that matte. On the outer portion of the eye. And then we're gonna just buff it in. So what we did originally is we just laid down the shadow, and now we're adding some warmth to it to kind of make the eye cohesive. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of bring that forward and then down to the inner part as well. In the Cream and Sugar palette, I'm going to take the two shimmer shades and I'm going to blend them up together on my finger, and I'm going to press that into the inner corner. And it just really creates this beautiful kind of highlight. And I'm going to press it into the inner corner. Then once you're done pressing, you can take a little definer brush and then just push that up. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm just mixing like the smallest bit of these two. I'm kind of wiping it on the back of my hand before I go in, and I'm just working that downward. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a tiny bit of concealer and I'm going to go under here. I'm like barely pressing it on there, and I'm just going to clean that up. I'm going to take a flat shader brush and just work that down. I just want a really clean line right there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix these two again. I will take a little bit of this ColourPop Pretty Fresh spray and I'm going to just spray that down with the product on it. And on the center of my eye, going kind of all the way up to the brow, I'm going to start working this in. And what that does, it just adds like this, there's a bit of light that kind of hits the center of the eye. I'm going to press that in with my finger. You only pick it up when you kind of move certain ways. Super pretty. With a pencil brush, there's this beautiful blue shimmer. I'm going to take this on my lower lash line. First though, I'm going to take a little bit of these two and kind of smoke it out under there. With your bottom lash line, you can also always use your finger kind of just to manipulate the product into the effect you want to get. I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to spray this guy down. And I'm going to run it along my lash line. Creating like a line with it. But the wing is only coming from the bottom and then working its way up. So I'm going to take a liner brush and I'm going to do the same thing with that blue shadow. If you have like a tiny lip brush, you could even use that. And then I'm going to create a winged liner right here, starting from the top point with that blue eyeshadow. And don't worry about it being super precise. I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I like to do. I'm just going to take a flat little eyeshadow brush and I'm going to take a little bit of the Garnier Micellar water, and then I'm going to kind of press any excess off. It will run down onto my hand, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of etch away, and then you can go back in with that blue liner and kind of fix it up the way you like. I'm gonna go ahead and do this eye and then we'll be right back. I have this eye done. I went ahead and added like an inner corner kind of line So I'm going to go ahead and do it on this eye as well. This eyeshadow is so soft that you can kind of create a little paste and it really becomes like an eyeliner. Wing that out. What I like to do is I'm going to take this guy right here and then I'm going to kind of connect where I ended the liner here and here. And same on the bottom. Now that the eyeshadow was complete, I'm going to pop on some mascara. I'm going to use the CoverGirl Clump Crusher Extension Mascara on my bottom lashes. And then for my top lashes, I'm actually going to be using one of my favorite mascaras of all time. This is the Maybelline Total Temptation Mascara. Curl and then put them on and we'll be right back. The eyes are completely done. I just want you guys to know that it's extremely possible to create really intricate and interesting eye looks with makeup from the drugstore. e.l.f. especially is just such an amazing brand. I like a lot of their products. I mean, of course you're going to find hits and misses with every brand, but these little eyeshadows are amazing. I haven't tried any of their larger palettes, which I'm actually pretty interested to see if they're the exact same quality because these are just like out of this world. Like really, you can do so much with it. So let's kind of go out a little bit and we'll finish the rest of the face. I'm gonna finish off the rest of the face. I want to add a little color. Unfortunately, the lighting situation is a little wonky right now. It's washing me out. So I'm gonna take this bronzer from Physicians Formula. This is the Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer, and I'm just gonna, it's a cream bronzer, I'm gonna kind of use it to warm up my face. And I'm gonna take one of the e.l.f. stipple brushes, I'm gonna work that into the skin. Okay, I'm debating on two different blushes. I have the Milani Cheek Kiss blush. This is a liquid blush. And then I also have the Flower Blush Bombs. This shade in particular is probably my favorite blush. It is just, it's like that red brown tone. It goes with so many looks. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful formula, especially if you have dry skin. If you don't have dry skin, I think you would like it. They wear beautifully on top of powder as well. So I will go in with cinnamon. I'm going to take it on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to take another one of the e.l.f. stipple brushes. I'm going to kind of pat it around. And I'm going to work it in. I just dropped it. And then what I like to do, so I'm going to put it on here. And then I'm going to take that beauty sponge, the Eco Tools one, and I'm going to work it in even more. For lips, I'm going to use two different products. I'm going to take this NYX liner. This is in the shade Nude Suede Shoes. And I'm going to completely fill in my lips with this. I'm going to take this guy from Physicians Formula. This is one of their butter lipsticks, and this is in the shade Brazilian Nut. These guys are like extremely emollient. They're beautiful as blushes. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take a tiny little blending brush, an eyeshadow brush. I'm going to pop that on the top, and I'm going to buff it into that lip liner. And if you want a little bit more blush, what you can do is you can just pop this guy in the back of your hand. Like I said, they're extremely, just super, I mean, you can see how shiny they are. They're super emollient. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it on the apples of my cheeks. And it's just a tad bit deeper than the shade we used from Flower. I'm going to take my stipple brush and work it in. When it comes to makeup, don't be afraid to use other products for something that they're not intended for. I mean, that's the amazing thing about makeup, is you can really kind of create and play. I feel like I want a little bit of gloss, so I'm going to take this gloss from Revlon. This is the Super Lustrous Gloss, and this is just this really beautiful, it has like a pink hue, but when you put it on, it just has this, it comes off with just like a beautiful shine, and then it has these gold reflex in it, which I think will go really well with this look. So I don't actually have a drugstore highlight, but what you can do is you can use eyeshadow. So I'm going to take a little bit from that Cream and Sugar palette, and I'm going to mix these two guys, the two shimmer shades. I'm going to test it on the back of my hand first. Yeah, that'll be really pretty. So I'm going to just work it onto the top of my cheekbones. Alright, I know I said I was only going to use things that you can find at the drugstore, but I also don't have a setting spray, and I really would like to set this look. This, however, is from ColourPop, so it's in the correct price range. This is their Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. I also used it when I created that wing liner. So I'm just going to cover my eyes, and then I'm going to spray my face down. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I really love how everything turned out. I think the products laid beautifully on top of that foundation, and the standout product in my eyes are definitely the e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes. They are amazing. I love how small they are, and for $3, like, I just like, my mind is blown. You really can't beat that. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, go ahead and subscribe, turn on the bell notification. I post every Monday and Friday. But yeah, this is my completed drugstore makeup look. I loved everything that I tried. I'm excited, you know, the future of drugstore makeup is really exciting to me. All of these products just worked so beautifully. So if you happen to pick anything up or try to create this eye look, let me know, send me a photo. I would love to see it. And I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks again for watching. Bye.